Okay. We'll now call the City Council regular meeting to order for January 23rd. Please rise to the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Father, we thank you for this evening. Lord, we just ask that you grant us wisdom tonight, Father. We ask that your will be done in this meeting, Lord. We ask that you be with each one of us as we are here tonight, Lord, and as we go home, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Councilmember McGuire?
Yes. Here.
Councilmember McCure?
Here.
Councilmember Taylor? Here. Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Here.
Mayor Anderson?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Under consent agenda, we have the minutes from January the 9th. Be looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve item number C4, the minutes for January 9th, 2023, please.
Do we have a second?
Second it.
Do we have any questions or changes? Seeing none, we'll call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 5, this will be a public hearing. It'll be second reading of ordinance number 1-2023. To be vacating and closing a platted right-of-way.
It's an ordinance vacating and closing a platted roadway never used by the public located in the city of Avon Park, Florida, at the request of adjacent owner, Boston Mining Company, providing for an effective date.
Okay, again, as you said, this is a second reading of an ordinance we've already gone through once. This will be a public hearing. Is there any questions before we open the public hearing? Seeing none, the public hearing for ordinance number 1-2023 is now open. Anyone wishing to speak on this issue can do so. As we've fought our way through the army of people wanting to speak on this issue, public hearing will now be closed. Be looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve D5 ordinance 01-2023.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 6, we have a draft lease between the City of Avon Park and Nazgrass, Inc.
So I was asked last week to put together the insurance and indemnification provisions associated with this lease for the temporary use. I understand it was like 4 months of use. And I did that with the assistance of an environmental attorney that I formerly associated with years ago. Was my partner years ago. And he was working with an environmental insurance agent, try and put this together, try and get it to where it's not onerous, but does have some protective elements to it. But it just, all deference to the folks at Nazgrass, I still can't recommend it because we can't quantify the risk. But if you're going to do it, go ahead and do it. This is a good document to be somewhat protective. Like I said, not everything is perfect, but it's just an issue that I can't quantify what the risk is.
Okay. Does anyone from Nazgrass want to speak on the issue or have any questions, comments?
But have they reviewed this with their insurance company? Is it acceptable to them? Or their insurance, can they obtain insurance for, according to this?
You'll have to come to the microphone there.
I mean, we can't move forward if we're going to approve the lease and
Please give your name and address for the record.
Christine Smith, 4409 Hedge Drive. I received it late Thursday evening, and so I sent it to him Friday, and he said I will have an answer this week.
okay, well, Thursday was not the version that,
Oh, I haven't received anything since Thursday.
yeah, this is the new one. And I mentioned in my email that was, you
I
have
never-
you have the highlighted yellow one, right?
No, sir. I never received it.
Okay. No, but that's the one that I sent out this morning. That's after I got input from the other people. Okay, well, if you could look that over with your insurance people, that's really the version.
And no one
So I-
sent it to, no one sent it to me.
Okay,
Specifically, it's section 6, right, Jerry?
Section 6 and Section 8. Section 6 is the insurance, Section 8 is the indemnification. It's, and so, understandably, I mean, they want to move forward, so perhaps you could approve it.
I'm sure, I mean, I sent him what I received Thursday, and, I mean, we do have $5 million liability, I brought you, we've had that for years, I can show you proof of that. So, I mean, I'm sure there's no issue, no one sent me this information.
Yeah, I had
Sorry.
a waiver as well, that I put together for, participants. And so we'll make sure you get that stuff. You all have never corresponded with me, so I don't
I
have your
tried,
information.
I did try last week, and I was told that I couldn't speak to you.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Well, at any rate, if you can get, we can get you the waiver and the current lease.
Did
Like I said-
any of you look over the waivers that I've emailed? Because, I mean, our waiver is very clear that they can't hold you responsible. I brought another copy. I have emailed, but I did bring copies if you wanted to look at it today.
Okay, why don't you let me look that over?
Okay.
And I will I'll consider that.
When's your next race?
It's just, the one thing that's going to have to change is, this does not presume anything about the gases and things like that, that perhaps can be, excluded from the ground. And waivers are not valid unless they make people aware of the risks. So we have to make.
Well, I mean, there are ways to make people aware of the risk, I mean, we can post signs, the whole street is at risk, the airport,
I'm
the
saying
businesses.
And the waiver itself has to make them aware of the risk.
So a sign, if we post signs. at
I think
all
it's
the
a great
entrances.
idea, yeah, great idea.
Just thought I would ask.
More
but-
warnings the better, as far as that's, so, but that doesn't change the fact that with the waiver, we'd have to look at the waiver, but, all right.
Okay, so at this point in time, it's
I mean,
assumed.
glancing, it doesn't look much different than what I received Thursday evening, I can tell you that. It doesn't look much different.
Yeah, there-
Of them reading it, and it doesn't look much different than Thursday's, so.
Mayor, can I add one thing?
Please.
Seeing she said twice no one sent it to her, I didn't know Jerry had sent another one until 5:15 PM tonight when he told us, and we ran across, made copies and gave it to you, so
Right.
I couldn't have sent it to you, I didn't know I had it, so it wasn't intentional,
That's
I
fine,
didn't
I
see it
just-
either,
I-
so.
Well,
okay,
I
I
Just
wanna
want
make
you
it
to
clear.
know that I'm,
My-
I didn't receive it.
My fault, I was working on it at 5 o'clock this morning, and I finished it at like 6:30, so I sent it out, and probably,
Yeah, well, the issue is that the ball didn't start getting rolling on this issue until about a week after our meeting, because you and I didn't speak until, what was it, end of last week, sort of, maybe mid last week.
Yeah.
And so, that was the problem, is that we basically lost a whole week before anybody was even made aware to start working on something, so. We only have 2 weeks in between meetings, and a week of that was lost before we even got started, and that's, it's not Jerry's fault, Once I called Jerry, he started working on it right away, and this is the best that we could do in the time that we had, so.
Yeah, I'm just saying I didn't know anything, so I'm sorry.
Sure.
All right.
No problem.
well, we can.
But it doesn't, like I said, glancing, I mean, this doesn't look a whole lot different, and I'm sure you can answer that question. Doesn't look a whole lot different than the one I received Thursday evening.
There is different language, because the attorney and the environmental insurance broker made some changes to the language, because that's why I highlighted it when I sent it out originally.
And you're speaking about the lease?
Yeah, the lease
currently?
document.
Yeah.
But the $5 million will still cover what they need to cover, correct?
It's still $5 million.
It's still $5
Which,
million.
like I said, that's what I mean, which we
And,
have.
and this,
Yeah,
but the
that's-
specific language was due
The
to the
specific language,
pollution.
you need to go with your insurance person about that, and just get back with me and let me know if it's, if he has a huge issue, we'll talk about it, or I'll have,
Right.
the environmental guy talk to them and they'll work it out, because we just, like I
Pass
said,
along the phone number or something, yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
it's,
So it's possible for us to approve it with the assumption, or possible,
I mean, I can get pollution insurance. I've got quotes on my phone, I can get it. So I know getting pollution insurance is not an issue. If that's the only question, I know it's
Okay.
not an issue.
So we need the
Well-
pollution insurance. We also need the updated waiver, right?
Yeah,
Is there anything else?
that's it.
Okay.
I have a comment,
Yeah.
Mayor, if I could,
The
please.
indemnification also changed. Sorry.
As I've said before at the last meeting, and I've said it in many meetings before, that safety is always the number one concern in making all of my decisions. And whether it's the city of Avon Park or inside my home or a place of business, safety comes first. And I thought about this issue since the last meeting, and I thought about it a lot, and I started realizing that the fact is that first of all, I assume that somebody from your group smelled something where you guys are located. But then I also found out that a city employee, as well as somebody from FAM, had smelled the same type of thing on the airport side of the property. So either way, in my opinion, whatever issue there is out there, it's the city's responsibility to make sure that it's not an issue or it is an issue. I wish we would have got testing done right away. I know that Mark brought up 3 options at the last meeting, and I think we should have gone forward with one of those initially because of the fact that if we can allow to have the airport continue to run, and we're not worried about the safety of the homes that are nearby, I don't see any reason why we can't allow that these people go ahead and race.
Well, that's
And-
my issue, and I'm sorry, but it's just not fair to single out
Well, that's what I'm
one
trying to tell you.
area.
I agree with
know, I
you.
said thank you.
Yeah,
That's exactly.
And for that reasons alone, if it's safe enough for the city to run its airport out there, then maybe we could escalate ourselves to get somebody out there tested just for our own safety's sake. I don't know whether a hazmat crew in the county has availability to go out there and test that or not. But like I said, I think that if the airport is allowed to stay open and run, and we're not concerned about that safety, then I think that we need to allow these people to go forward. And if they can say that they can go over this agreement and lease agreement, I'm ready to make a motion that we go ahead and move forward with that right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there is no issue going forward. Obviously, it's not the attorney's recommendation, but so that's why they did the best that they could to get the additional language that would protect everyone. So with the additional language in the lease, and that's being requested to be added to their insurance with the pollution insurance and the additional language in the waiver, that's the best option going forward. So we don't have any issue. So as long as we approve it, subject to them getting the language included into the insurance, which they think they'll be able to do, I have no issue going forward at all.
Great.
I have to say, though, I'm not sure that I can get that waiver changed. This waiver is used across the entire United States. And trust me, I don't want to stand here and say it, but it is also not fair to ask a company to change a waiver for one racetrack. This is used everywhere. This insurance is, like I said, across the entire United States. How do I ask them to change it for one place? We have signs posted. The waiver specifically states that you can't sue anyone. You are not responsible. I mean, people sign the waiver so that you are not held responsible. I mean, the
Did they-
wording is just, different wording. You are not held responsible regardless. With this waiver, any waiver, that's why we have them sign.
So are you saying the waiver is produced by your insurance company?
Yes, that is
Okay.
not us.
So the insurance company, I'm assuming you had a conversation with them about the waiver. And did you bring up to them that you needed a pollution coverage? And their response to that was?
I will get back to you next week.
Okay.
With an answer, but I also, have called around and I can get pollution coverage, even if I don't get it from this particular company, I can get it from someone else. So that is, none of that is an issue. But having a major company change for one place that's the issue.
So if you had pollution coverage from a different insurance company, could you not add it to the waiver yourself?
Possibly, I mean, with a stamp, possibly. I don't, I didn't check into that, so I don't want to, I don't want to answer that 100%.
Well, I'm saying if the answer to that is yes, then there's no conceivable issue.
Right,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I mean, there's a way we could add it,
Sure.
there's always a way. I could take it and have it printed, yes.
Well, It does, I mean, I just scanned this over and I don't see how it covers the city at all. It does, it says it covers the track owner, which is not us.
But it is.
No, we don't own the track.
Who does?
You own the property.
We own the property.
Okay.
And it says lessees, but nothing about lessors. And so we're the lessor.
Well, I'm assuming, I'm sure they assumed the track, I mean,
No,
the property, the track.
These when these go to court, they are read very, very strictly because the court's propensity is to find them invalid. They want to find them
Well, of
invalid.
course they do. I mean,
But I'm just simply saying, it's not clear to me. I mean,
So can we have an additional waiver? That sounds like a waiver for their insurance, but can we have a separate waiver for us with all of our?
I
Sure.
mean,
I'm fine with that.
we can get that printed.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Well, that solves.
yeah, I don't,
All the
it
issues.
doesn't matter to me what you.
Yeah, I
want to
mean,
make
that
yourself.
would solve all the issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's,
I mean, that's fine with me.
that's the goal, right? Solve all
Yeah,
the
that's
issues,
fine.
so
Yeah.
that does it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So as far as the language for that waiver,
And we're only talking about 4 months of
right,
that. How many competitions?
right. And so the idea is that we would have, what would be?
Right
4?
now, remaining is 4. We normally start up again in September. We're right now in question 4.
Right. So the idea is that we would have some type of environmental study or something
Right,
happen.
that's what I mean, but for right now, 4.
Right.
Okay, so then the approval that I guess you're suggesting is that they approve this based on final language of the lease being agreed to, and be happy to do that, and
Can you also help prepare a waiver? That
Yeah.
would,
I prepared one already,
oh, did you? Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I don't have a problem, having people sign that.
It's just
Okay, with that
one-
being said, I make the motion as said.
Okay, so we have a motion as stated. Jerry, does that cover what you were requesting?
Yeah, just subject to, yeah, if it's
Okay.
so moved.
So was that your motion that was
Yes, sir.
subject to?
Yes,
Okay.
Mayor.
All right, so we
So
have
the
a motion.
Sorry, go ahead.
The motion is to approve, subject to Jerry's approval of the final lease agreement.
Okay. I'll second the motion.
Okay? And as everybody has discussed, everything should be done. The second waiver should cover everything. Their insurance should come through for them. So at this point in time, it looks like we're,
Yeah, because like I said, we have the 5 million. That's
Sure.
not a question. So if we have to get some wording changed, whatever, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, I have a question. Maybe it should be a understanding before she walk out that she stated earlier that they said they couldn't talk to Mr. Burr, and Mr. Burr telling her to get with him. So who should she be speaking with, Mr. Burr?
Yeah, well, I'm okay with you contacting me, but, we can keep Mark in the loop, certainly, and,
I'm just, all I was stating was that I called, and they told me I couldn't speak to you, which was fine. But they said they would pass on a message.
Well-
And so, I'm fine. But, then I was told that you can't just talk to him, which is fine. But I would think that you could at least get my messages. And,
I guess the concern is that it grinds out attorney's fees and,
listen, thank you. You know what I'm trying to say.
so, at any rate, let's try and get this done so that you guys can get started. I mean, like I said, I have my reservations, but we're moving forward.
okay? All right, anything else on this issue? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes,
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, item number 7, council to vet 4 applicants for the Southside CRA alternate vacancy. Chrissy?
Yes, sir, thank you. So, immediately after our previous meeting, I called all the applicants to check if they would still be interested for this position. Some of them I wasn't able to receive a response. We've left multiple messages emailed, so I can confirm we spoke with Ms. Foster and Ms. Williams, who are both here, I believe. And we have not heard back from Annie Johnson or Florine Anderson Wells. And Ms. Padrika Shepherd is not interested in the position.
Okay, so we're only discussing the alternate position, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we've got 4 people applying for 1, and as you stated, you've got 2 people here currently tonight.
Correct.
All right. This is council have any questions?
What are the two people that's here, Mayor? What two people here?
Ms. Foster and Ms. Williams?
Where's Miss Williams?
She may have stepped out.
Oh, somebody here?
Yeah, she's here.
Yep. Okay. Is there any discussion until they get back? Questions?
Well, everything I know
Concerns?
is, I believe, didn't Ms. Foster run for a city council seat last year? So that at least showed to me that, as well as her application today, that she is interested in serving the city of Avon Park. So it's the fact that she's here tonight, to me, that's a plus.
Same thing. I think I'd like to see her on the board.
She's gone, so we only got one anyway.
Oh, she left?
She
Miss
left?
Foster left?
She don't see her, so.
No, Foster's here. Williams is gone. Miss Foster's here.
Ms. Foster, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss
Williams
Williams. Oh, I
is
see.
Didn't see her outside? Well, if we want to move forward, I'll make a motion.
Is there any discussion on any of the four applicants?
Well, the only discussion I have, like she said, she got a hold of all of them. There's only one here, so let's move forward with the one we got.
Would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for D7, council to vet the four of the applicants. And since Mrs. Foster is here, I recommend she be the one that we choose.
Okay,
And I'll second that.
we have a motion and a second. We have any discussion? If we can keep it down out there in the audience, it's kind of distracting. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call a roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes,
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes?
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Item number 8, we have council to vet applicant Donna Parks for the Avon Park Police Pension Board. Chrissy?
Yes, sir. So I have not been able to reach Donna Parks. I shot an email out to Mr. Robinson, who responded that, and for those of you who don't know, he's the plan administrator. He said that he had gotten a hold of her, that she's still interested, and she was supposed to call me and show up today. She's not here, and I have not heard from her. So at this point, as Brian suggested in his email, we should probably move forward with looking for another applicant.
Okay.
I think so, too.
So it would be my recommendation to keep the position open and table indefinitely. So you can keep her in there, and then if you hear from her, then great. If not, then great. So
Sounds like a plan.
do we need a motion to table indefinitely there, or can we just move on?
Yes, no, was there a motion raised?
There was not a motion.
No, then you can just move on.
Okay. All right. Item number 9, we have a draft RFP for the city-owned property, 101 West Main Street. All right. You taking it?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, you asked for one, you got it. Andy Mogul put it together, sent it to Jerry. He sent back some recommendations or actually what he wanted to see in there. But he did mention that it was a really good first draft. Obviously, you need to look at it and see what you want in there, what you'd like to see proposed there.
Okay. Well, the only real, I looked through it. It looks very complete. Obviously, there's a lot of information there. Looks like all the bases are covered. The only question I had was the timing of this whole thing. It did say that everything had to be, they would be publicly opened and recorded on February 28th. Question is kind of what is the likelihood that we would actually have an offer by February 28th?
Probably not. I think he just put some dates in there. Could have
Yeah,
been just
okay.
left blank.
Placeholder.
So suggestions for kind of keeping this ongoing? Is there a way that we can have it ongoing and whenever we get an applicant then?
Yeah, you could just,
We obviously don't want to make that public and let everybody know what they've offered, so we have to be mindful of that, but.
if you want to keep it on your agenda, just ask the clerk to put it on the old business for each one of your agendas.
Okay. So it's something that we could go ahead and approve and have it out there.
Yeah, and when you're ready to move on it, we can do it.
Okay. You have any rebuttal to that, or?
Yeah, I'm not clear on, you're not ready to put it out, or you just
No.
want a date?
We want to put it out, it's just.
Right, we have to have a date, because there has to be a closing to get it in.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about two different things here.
Okay.
You want to move forward, you just want a date farther out to give people a chance.
Right. I mean, there's a chance that we may not get any RFP applicants
Right.
for a year or 5 years, or maybe tomorrow. We don't
Okay.
know.
Okay, then in which case you would just republish it later. You can just keep on
Right.
sending it out.
Okay.
So we put a date out on how far you want it to go out, 90 days, 120
Yeah, I think
days, and then
let's
if
start
nobody
with
puts
90
in, same thing we did with the Brickell building, nobody
Yeah.
put in, and we put it back out.
Right.
And interestingly enough, if you do that enough, then at some point you can just, if somebody comes in, you can just negotiate with that one person, since you've already, done your due diligence to try and RFP it.
Okay. Well, 90 days sounds good then. Okay. Is there any other material changes or questions or anything like that?
No, sir.
I mean, obviously, it's impossible to know the future and to know what somebody is going to offer. So I'm sure as people do start taking interest and start contacting the city and asking questions, we'll probably get a lot more insight into this of what people are actually interested in. So,
I will say one thing, I think Andy did a great job of the businesses he picked and listed there. I'd take almost any of them.
yep.
He stole them from an
Especially the
RFP in
restaurants.
Miami, but, we'll give it to him.
Okay.
And we already got Barry working on somebody to put in, so.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
All right. So the actual closing date, you want to push that back to the end of April then, or what? Or just 90 days from tonight?
I think that 90 days is a fair time for people to consider it and put together something without rushing them.
Okay.
And then,
So the closing date would be 90 days from passing. And it would be at the close of business, whatever day that
let's
is.
just need a motion to pay for the advertisement, and get that going.
Okay. So if there's no further questions, then we'll be looking for a motion. So we need a motion to pay for the advertising
And
and to close it 90 days from passing
approve the RFP.
and approve the RFP.
I say move.
All right, we have a so moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Please call the roll.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes,
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes?
Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 10, discussion of possible foreclosure action. Randy?
Yeah, I think I got it. Yep. As council is aware, you guys last, I believe it was fiscal year, before the budget, went forward with basically approving that the city go forward with some foreclosures based on outstanding liens. And so we did that. This is the second foreclosure recommendation that brought to you. The first one is still ongoing. That's the one with the 5 properties in the city of Avon Park. This is the second one. We've been getting a lot of complaints about this location. It's very prominent on a main thoroughfare on North Lake Avenue. And we were engaging conversation with the homeowner, and then he just basically abruptly stopped. Went to magistrate hearing. He is a repeat violator, so it is incurring a $500 a day fine, currently over $90,000. The pictures I took were a couple days ago, so that shows the current state of the property, which is in despair.
So what do you think the current value is? You have something on that from either Zillow or whatever?
No, the house is probably going to have to be demoed.
Yeah.
I got you.
That's the problem. I mean, you're going to incur the legal fees, obviously, for the foreclosure, and then you're most likely going to incur demo fees as well, which would be the asbestos survey, the asbestos remediation, if there is any, and then the subsequent demo, which you're probably looking at 20 grand that you'll probably never recoup.
Is this in a CRA?
I believe it is, and we actually we haven't went for it yet. We just got the demo order, but I believe that's going to be Main Street CRA.
Okay.
504 North Lake.
Our new policy will come in handy.
Yeah. So the Main Street CRA actually goes north on Lake Avenue there? Okay.
she's going to look at, she has the map.
Okay.
We have two others that we're actually demoing, that are going in front of CRA board next month.
Okay.
So that's going to take a chunk of money as well, but I believe Mr. Jarrett was really, I'm not going to say excited, but was really pushing the usage of funds for demos.
Sure.
As well as the facade grants.
So now, how do some properties end up getting demoed and some properties end up getting foreclosed on, or do they all get foreclosed before demoed?
Well, we foreclosed on it. We didn't ask for a demo order on this one.
I can help. You want to answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you don't have to foreclose in order to demo. If the house is ordered to be demoed by the code enforcement officer, they're required to demo it. If they don't do that, the city can do it, and seek the cost from them for not having
But
done
they
it.
maintain the property.
But they keep the property, right?
I see.
But to me, I always prefer, these, they're not going to have money anyway, so it's better just to go ahead and for us to own the property. It removes any issue with regard to takings, that we weren't supposed to demo it. It wasn't, that situation. But if it's got fines in excess of the value of the property, then what do they have to say?
So if the city forecloses on a property, do they attempt to sell it first, or does it just get demoed?
The process is it goes for sale on the front steps of the courthouse, and if nobody bids, then it goes to the city. It basically forces the sale of the property. That is what I learned in school for the foreclosure process for code enforcement liens. I did look at a history, and he was current on his taxes, which kind of tells me that it was, most of these, they're delinquent for 5 years or so, which I'm surprised the county hadn't taken over. But this one was paid in 2021. It is still outstanding for 2022. But I mean, it's the tax is, $2,166.27. So it's assessed at a high. It's probably a pretty good assessment, but there's no homestead on it because it's a secondary residence.
I see.
Is there a mortgage on it?
I haven't got to that point. It's already been given to Mr. Tong. He was going to do all that.
Okay. All right. Questions?
I have a comment. Unfortunately, I drive by that house almost every day.
Sure.
And I think that, I'm not sure if this is the same owner that bought it because they inherited it or something, and I think that they asked for forgiveness when they got it because of a similar issue, and they were supposed to fix everything up, and they did some things for a little while, and then they just kind of like let it go, and then that last storm is what caved in that, the carport, or whatever you call it, and that actually was fixed once already, because it was already in bad repair shape before, and they fixed it once. Obviously, they didn't do a good job, so not only did it come down, you can tell the whole roof, it's just not pleasant to look at.
Sure.
But even more than that, because I do drive by that corner and have to make a turn on the Lake Avenue, a lot of times those hedges right there are not maintained properly, and you kind of have to go out a little bit on Lake Avenue before you make your turn. So it's an unsafe situation because even the lawn itself or property itself is not maintained. So I for one, would happy to see this go away. And at the same time, I think that you're probably going to find somebody that would love to buy that corner piece of property because it probably does have a pretty decent value once you put a decent home on there. So I'm all for it to move forward with this.
For the record, it is in the Main Street CRA district as well.
Awesome.
And you said that you haven't, nobody has contacted you about this? Because I went by there this weekend and there was a couple trucks. And you know how on Lake Avenue, the bushes meet together, but they're a passway? The truck was parked up into the bushes. So I
Well,
don't know if they've been snooping around, somebody's been
Could be
snooping
somebody.
around, or-
The only person, we do get calls frequently from the neighbor on Charles Street, which obviously that garage is close to her house and her property line, so she certainly has a right to complain.
Sure.
But we've basically reached out to the guy. He, like I said, engaged probably a couple months, and, he said he fell on hard times with money problems, and, I said, go ahead and take it to the magistrate. We did, and here we are.
Okay.
And
All right, well, any other questions? If not, we'll be looking for a motion.
Make a motion, we approve item number 810, foreclosure action on property at 504 North Lake Avenue, please.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McGurk?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes?
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
This is a question. Yeah, it was my memory that you guys wanted us to move forward on these, just, as reasonable. And so we went ahead and moved on this. I mentioned that vote that you all had. And then I said, just bring it in for, so that they'll understand that it's here. And so on, if somebody has a major problem, we'll stop the work on it. But we try to get these things going as quickly as possible when they're in that bad a shape.
Yeah.
Yep, if nobody's got a problem with that, that's the way we'll treat them in the future as well.
No, I don't have any issue with it, and all the properties that I've seen that have come before us are in, absurd disrepair anyway. This house is falling down, the other structure's falling down on it, so I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Okay, city manager report.
AIPP and lease, the second draft, excuse me, of the lease was sent out to in-house over the weekend. Attorney's working on the weekend, getting it out. So that'll be going to FAM probably by the end of the week to look at. FAM's still working on their part of the AIPP, getting their wording done and correct, so it's moving forward.
Do we have a deadline for them to get that done, or?
There's no hard deadline, but
Okay.
it's diligently being worked on.
Sure. Just want to make sure we're not on the verge of lapsing in some
No,
major way.
not at all.
Okay.
We're, Lowell's helping them the best he can too, so.
Got it.
We were looking for like March or maybe April delays, is that still?
Yeah, we were hoping by the end of March, so getting it to FAA, so it's getting there.
All right, good,
Okay.
thank you.
Second one, you got this letter in here from the Avon Park Community Child Development Center, which you own the building. It's the same, Jerry, is the ball field, asking for the 2 additional 5 years. You said it really didn't take a motion on it. All they had to do is request it. They weren't within the 90 days. Well, they can say maybe they were. They said they dropped it off and we didn't get it, but we didn't find it, but I don't have a problem with it being in 90 days. They're there. There's nothing we can do with the building right now anyways. They are doing what they're supposed to. Actually, they had the insurance that covered the part for the hailstorm that ours didn't. So, I mean, they're up on their insurance and that. So I don't see a problem with it.
Still the existing lease, just a
Yes.
renewal?
So I'm just bringing it to your attention, so.
Okay.
Okay. So you're not asking for an actual vote from the council?
No, I'm just letting you know, because some on here, maybe they do now, but didn't even know we own that building, so, and that we maintained, actually, the roof of the main building. We got insurance to take care of that, but they take care of the other roofs, because there was a lot of damage there, so.
So they take care of all the maintenance of the property on an ongoing basis then, or?
They do. We have been mowing it. David Roberts, the way he interprets it, says they're supposed to mow it. I'm going to probably have to get in the middle of it here pretty soon, so.
Sure. Well, perhaps you could send a copy of that lease to all the council members so they at least know. As you said, most people don't even realize the city even owns that building.
Right,
so.
sure. City clerk take care of that.
Okay.
There was, the deputy mayor brought it up, and Nasgrass brought up about the entire airport being closed, but as we know, the old dump out there is only in the western part, it's not the whole airport, so the whole airport would never have to be shut down for that. But as far as you brought up, Jim brought up about the testing of that, I sent out to all of you, you probably read in the paper about Duke Energy selecting our site. Part of that is they're going to do an environmental study out there. So they're going to check that area, and it's going to hopefully work out with us too. Our outside counsel thinks we may be able to use that as the environmental study for the AIPP.
So they're going to go beyond the site that they're actually going to use to other areas?
They've actually been all over the airport. They actually went at the ball fields last week. But I was told by JT that they would be checking that area where Nasgrass is, so there will be a study done.
Have they submitted some type of a plan for their environmental study, or?
I haven't seen it. I can get with JT to see if he's got it yet, but they didn't start. Last week, they were just there doing like inventory, see what's
Okay.
out, just going around. They actually wanted to get into the buildings, the ball field.
Well, as you know, the environmental studies take a while, and they can be expensive. So I think it would probably be best if if we at least knew exactly where they're going to go. And if it doesn't include the Nasgrass, then that's something we got to look at getting that done. So
Well, we may have to do it with the AIPP anyways in the lease, so.
Yeah.
Part of that.
yeah,
Mark,
oh, we at least need to know what the plan is going to be.
Right.
who's paying for the study?
Duke.
Yeah, I think I saw that article. It was really nice that they.
Which is a really great thing, by the way. We don't want to downplay that. It's a phenomenal thing for the city.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It
That's what I was
is.
trying to say.
Yep.
It is. I think that's it. I thought I had something else.
Okay. Well, that concludes our regularly scheduled agenda. Is there anything else for the good of the city?
Well, I need to let Mark know something.
Okay.
On Tulane, where the veteran park is at, there's a couple of lights there, those light posts, those black light posts there along the sidewalk. It's kind of dark at night, so there's a couple of lights. If you can get somebody to go out and replace some lights.
They're already on it. It's somewhere underground. The electrical line is broken. They're trying to figure out where it is, but they already know about it. I've received 2 or 3 calls on it.
I noticed there was one on Main Street too, not the light out, the whole pole was leaning right in front of Dr. Gelf's building.
Which one?
Well, yeah, that's
The
true.
big red one?
The one right, yeah, the big red one, the old bank.
Okay.
I don't know if a truck might have come by and bumped it or what, but it was leaning over.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Right.
Okay, any word on any of the lighting for the parking lot behind the Diving Girl, or?
Yeah, I asked David Roberts last week on that, and they told him they were at least 30 days out when he got with them and told him to put one up.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the city? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, please.
Seeing no opposition, we are adjourned.